This VPN video is going to be different than what you might think. See, I'm not going to tier rank VPN companies or give you a top 5 list based on the best affiliate offers. Instead, I'm basing all of this on a single critical idea. And this is something that I challenge you to think about before you purchase any VPN. And that idea is this: people use VPNs for different reasons. And your reason for using it is actually more important to your purchase decision than pricing, features, or even your privacy concerns. My name's Josh. Welcome to All Things Secure, the channel that teaches you practical ways to improve your privacy and security in this digital age. Before we go any further, I want to make sure that we're on the same page here. A VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. You can think of it like a secure tunnel between your device and a server somewhere else in the world. It can be anywhere. A VPN encrypts or scrambles any information you send between your device and that server, which then forwards your traffic to the internet on your behalf. And that's what most commercial VPNs are used for. All of this can be useful in multiple scenarios. For example, when I lived in China, the government heavily restricted access to any foreign websites, including important things like email. They still have that heavy censorship in place. A VPN created a tunnel to a server outside the country where I could then freely access the internet and download my email. I now live elsewhere in Asia, which may not censor the internet, but there are annoying geographic restrictions where websites, including some in the US where I need to file government documentation, they won't allow me to get onto that website outside of the country. It's really ridiculous in my opinion. I have to tunnel into a server in the US and then all of it magically works again. The same goes for streaming content like Netflix, Disney Plus, or YouTube TV. And then there's the use case for those who don't need to tunnel outside of the country, but just want that additional layer of privacy that prevents their internet service provider or some other entity from tracking their internet activity. All of this falls under the umbrella of a VPN. But not all VPNs cater to each of these use cases. So let's take each of these cases individually, starting with government censorship. If you came to me and said that you were going to be traveling to China, the Middle East, Russia, or some other country like that, I would recommend that you download and use something like Proton VPN or Mysterium, which is something known as a DVPN I'll explain in a moment. Both of these, well, they're not ideal for streaming anything online. I purposely avoid using Proton VPN when I want to watch something, but they offer great access in restricted parts of the world. You see, a lot of the popular VPN companies tend to use the same data centers with the same range of IP addresses for the servers that they offer. So it's pretty easy for governments to simply block access to those VPNs using techniques like IP blocking and deep packet inspection. Proton VPN is one of the more credible mainstream options for restrictive environments because they've invested really heavily in anti-censorship features. They have strong privacy practices as a company, and their infrastructure is designed to be harder to disrupt than generic reseller VPNs. In cases of extreme censorship, a DVPN or decentralized VPN, something like Mysterium, is unique because you're often connecting to residential or independently run nodes rather than a predictable block list of commercial data center IPs. The trade-off here is speed, consistency, and it's really a different trust model altogether. But if your primary need is access when everything is being blocked and censored, it's sometimes your only good option. Now, let's say that your primary use of a VPN is streaming. All you want to do is access geo-restricted content, and privacy, well, it isn't your primary concern. In this case, there are quite a few options available to you. There are hundreds of VPNs that fit into this category, but the ones that I use and recommend to most people are NordVPN and Surfshark. Anytime my family wants to watch something, we turn on NordVPN and we rarely have a problem. These type of VPNs offer a choice of literally thousands of server options in pretty much any country that you might want to connect to. And as far as trust is concerned, I do trust NordVPN as a company. I've visited their headquarters in Lithuania and met with their leadership. There are plenty of other VPNs that fit in this use case that I wouldn't necessarily trust, but the reality is that trust matters a little bit less with streaming than with privacy-focused use cases. Finally, we have the privacy use case for the privacy purist. You know you fit in this category if you heard me recommend something like NordVPN and you immediately filled with mild rage. The point of these kinds of VPNs is to reduce how much you have to trust them with your identity, particularly during account sign up or payment. Recommendations here would be something like iVPN or Molvad, both of which accept crypto payment and don't require an email or phone number to set up an account. It's less about evading censorship, even though it can do that, and it's more focused on resisting surveillance and internet tracking. They're both built on open source applications with anonymous sign up and really clear privacy policies. That said, they're not designed for streaming. You're not going to find an app for either of these on your Apple TV, and they don't come with all this extra dark web monitoring or other such features. I mean, in a way, they're attractive in their simplicity. To be fair, I mean, these could potentially be used for censorship settings, but I'm putting them in this category because it's perfect for the person who wants a higher level of anonymity than the average VPN user. And I really feel like I need to say this again. I've said it multiple times. I want to make this abundantly clear. A VPN is not a cloak of invisibility. Yes, it does hide your IP address, but it doesn't stop websites from recognizing your accounts, especially when you sign in. It doesn't stop them from tracking your browser or following your behavior across the internet. All of that requires more than just a VPN, and I think that's important to know. So then, what is the best VPN? The truth is, at least in my opinion, there isn't a single best one. It really depends on what you actually need it for. If you're mostly focused on streaming or travel, NordVPN works great. If you want a VPN built on transparency and privacy ethics that works in areas of censorship, Proton VPN is the one that I would go with. And if you're a complete anonymity purist who just wants to stay off the grid as much as possible, I recommend iVPN. And if you think that a VPN is going to make you completely anonymous online, despite what I just told you, you should watch this video next for a bit of a rude awakening.